Welcome to the Apply Pressure Podcast with yours truly, Transformer Chris. Here, we dig deep and go beyond the surface, uncover what's hidden, talk straight, no fluff, share secrets, give advice, and keep it all the way real regarding life. Listen, sis, I know you be busy doing what you do, but child boo, I really need to talk to you. There comes a point in life when the best thing to do is sit back and watch God work. There are some blessings in store for you that are simply going to be hands-free blessings, meaning you don't have to physically do a thing to make it happen. Let your faith do all the work. When we're able to sit back and truly let God take the wheel without us feeling like we need to jump in and manipulate situations just to get them to go the way that we want, when we're able to fully relinquish those areas, it shows God the level of trust and belief we really have in him. God always has a plan, even when we don't. We all get so caught up on the works aspect that we totally neglect the faith aspect. How many of you are guilty of having to always be one step ahead? Always calculating the next move, constantly setting up your fallback plan. When one door closes, you're already knocking on the next. What can I do now? Where do I go from here? And y'all know I'm one for ambition and strategic planning, but sometimes we need to slow down long enough to give God time to respond to our first and second and third requests without us getting all antsy or becoming slothful in the process. Oh, this taking too long. It ain't never going to happen. And listen, y'all, I'm not one to judge. I'm simply speaking from experience and my own self-conviction. Because I'm quick to be so happy to come to the end of one assignment only to dive head first into the next. Constantly looking for the next big idea to pay off. But what happens when you have this mentality is you start trusting in your own abilities to bring you success. And in doing so, you wrongfully take credit for God's provision in your life. And we need to be careful about this. So what God is saying moving forward is, so that there's no mistake about it, I need you to know that it's me and not you. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to wait until you finally decide to sit back and take your hands off before I show up and step in. Forcing us to activate our faith muscle instead of our physical muscle all the time. Once that happens and you start exercising the right muscle, then he'll step in and he'll indulge you with blessings. And the evidence that it's him will be because it's literally coming to you hands-free. It's not to say that the work of your hand didn't set the whole thing in motion. It's just to say that it's coupling the work together with faith that brings the increase. Can you labor and then walk away without seeing an instantaneous payoff, but still believe that one day it will? Can you do that? A farmer plants the seed and usually doesn't see the evidence until weeks, sometimes months later. But they don't dig it back up to check on it or plant more seeds in the same place, hoping that maybe this one works faster. No, they plant the seed and leave it. Why? Because they understand when their work is done. Their work was planting the seed, but what those seeds are to one day produce are hands-free blessings. They don't have to do anything else but wait on it. I don't know how many of y'all are right there with me, but those of you who are, it's time to take your hands off of whatever you've been plowing at year after year and let your faith take it from here. Once you know that you've done your part, hand the rest over to God. You've been literally working the vision endlessly for years now. Hand it over. You've been praying tirelessly, day and night for that child. Turn it over. You've been wrestling the same devil for generations now. It's time to turn it over. You're the only one keeping that marriage afloat. Hand it over. So whatever it may be for you, you know better than I do. I'm just passing on the word to relinquish it now. I have seen God do some of his greatest work when I'm not trying to be all up in the mix. Because a lot of the time, the delay is because we are infamous for jacking things up, trying to conjure up all kinds of plans to get stuff to go the way that we want, even if it's not the way that it's supposed to be. God will be like, you know what? I want you to give this away. Or I want you to sow a financial seed and your obedience will have blessings attached to it. But what do in our human nature? We start trying to make it all make sense in the natural. Because on one hand, we're working hard and praying for a financial breakthrough. And now on the other hand, God says to give from the little that we have. So now we're like, wait, hold up, because our physical account shows a deficit. So how does that even work when it doesn't even add up? But what God needs you to understand is, although your physical account shows a deficit and looks like you're losing, your spiritual account shows an increase. So you're really setting yourself up to win. Your sacrifice just made a way of abundance, little do you know. I remember when me and my husband first relocated, our bills went tremendously up and our income tremendously down. Like the pay scale was totally different than what we're accustomed to. So to do the math of how it all worked itself out would look like a lie, but God. When I tell y'all those hands-free blessings kicked in without us even breaking a sweat, every amazing thing that I can recall in my life came from a time when I honestly moved myself out of the way, took my hands off, and truly let God do his thing. And here's the catch. I'm not telling you you're not supposed to work, because even the work of your hands is biblical. But it's not the end-all be-all like so many think it is. Your labor and toil is in vain if you never mix it with faith. I believe this next wave of blessings is not going to come because of how much you worked for it, but because of how much faith you had for it. All of those areas that you toiled to no avail, let your faith do all the work moving forward. I've seen it done before, guys, so believe me when I tell y'all it's possible. I remember a time when I was just chilling at home, taking it easy, day by day, just resting in God. And daily, I would just sit outside and dump the thoughts in my head into my phone just to free my mind. Later that year, God told me to write a book and then revealed to me that I already had all I needed to complete the project because of all the content that I had stored when it wasn't even a part of my plan. But that goes back to what I was telling y'all in the beginning. God has a plan even when we don't. Like for years, I would periodically come up with an idea to write a book, and I would sit down and, start writing everything out, and I would get far. And then I would never finish. And a little while after that, I'll have the idea again and I'll start a brand new project, not even continue what I already started. Now I got a fresh idea, so I'm starting something new, and I would get going on the writing and then I would never finish. And it happened over and over again. But here we have this one time when it's something that I'm actually not trying to do, and poof, there it is, just like that. I literally didn't have to do anything besides fine-tune the literature and then transition it from the note format that I had it in into a book format. Only God can orchestrate perfect plans like that. Guys, I really need y'all to hear me on this. And I'm only sharing because I care. This is the season for hands-free blessings. So do yourself a favor and take your hands off the wheel. And so, my good peoples, This episode actually wraps things up for season 3 of the Apply Pressure podcast. So until we all link up again, do you, boo. Okay, ladies, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you stay caught up and don't miss out on what's next. If you're enjoying this atmosphere, be sure to go and leave your girl a review. That way this platform can continue to evolve and build a strong network of empowered women of purpose. Until next time, hop over to my website. Make sure you subscribe and capture all the latest products and free giveaways by visiting www.crystalmetellus.com. Also, connect with me on social media @CrystalMetellus. Talk to you later, sis.